Our readings today are about two people who are in flight. David, in our first reading, and Jesus, in our gospel today. They are both running away because of the hazard that goes with popularity. Mark tells us Jesus even had an escape boat ready whenever the crowd began to build up. He could not stop people from coming to him from everywhere, wanting to listen to him, wanting to touch him. And that explains, why Jesus preferred the lakeshore as the venue for his teaching and healing sessions. Whenever people got unruly, he had the whole lake behind him as exit routes. As long as there was an escape boat waiting there, ready to whisk him away so that the crowd would not crush him. The other person who is running away is David. In our first reading, the author tells us David had become so popular that Saul began to feel jealous and insecure. He began to see in David a threat to his kingship. In fact, he verbalizes his feeling when he says about David, all that remains of him, or all that remains for him, is kingship. And so now he is planning to kill him. You see, Saul wanted to build a political dynasty and make sure na yung anak niyang si Jonathan would succeed the kingship after him. Unfortunately for Saul, his son Jonathan had a good heart. Para bang siyang si David din, he was not interested in power. And what Jonathan saw in David was a selfless man who was always ready to serve his people and even willing to put his life on the line, ika nga, like he did in our reading yesterday when he volunteered to fight Goliath one-on-one. Well, Jonathan did not see David as a threat. He saw him rather as a friend and an ally. And so he did his utmost best to protect David from his own father. What the escape boat was to Jesus, that was what Jonathan was to David. He was there to save him from being crushed by the weight of his father's jealousy and insecurity. I don't think it mattered at all to Jonathan that he was not going to succeed his father's kingship. He saw in David what God himself had seen in this simple shepherd's heart, the qualities of a good leader, as well as the love of a genuine friend. Alam ni Jonathan, that his father had been corrupted by power and that his father had no other intention than to keep power by hook or by crook. He also knew that David had no intention of displacing his father or usurping power from him. Wala siyang ambisyon. He was only sincerely concerned about the welfare of the Israelite nation, which he served with dedication and integrity. I suspect that David was not enjoying it when the women, according to our first reading today, were singing and dancing, extolling David as a warrior who was greater than Saul. They shouted and said, Saul killed 1,000 while David 10,000, Nainggit tuloy si Saul. I think, therefore, that it was not just Saul that David was running away from. He was also running away from the, what I call, ego massage, that a position of popularity was giving him. St. Mark tells us it was pretty much the same with Jesus, and the way Jesus dealt with the evil spirits, because the evil spirits were also trying to give him an ego massage, extolling him in public, calling him the Son of God. Did Jesus enjoy it? Well, instead of saying more, Jesus told them, "Shut up. Tumahimik kayo dyan." Kuminsan talagang dapat pagsabihan ng ganyan ng mga flatterers. Shut up. I hope you see now why I said Jesus regarded only one person as his enemy, si Satanas. In the same way, David regarded not Saul as his true enemy, but the evil spirits that he was often asked to drive away with his music. Kasi si David, entertainer daw. And whenever bad mood si Saul at inaalihan ng masamang espiritu, they called David to entertain him so that the evil spirits could be driven away. David knew that it was the evil spirits that were succeeding in destroying Saul and allowing his jealousy and insecurity to get the better of him, to lead him to his downfall. Alam nyo, I suggest today, maybe we should pray for the children of ambitious leaders who have put up their dynasties. The children who still have some decency left in their hearts, hopefully like Jonathan. Let us pray like David and Jesus, that they too can find their exit routes, that they too can have the presence of mind to run away and get into an escape boat that will save them from being crushed by the lure or the temptation of power. The escape boat that ultimately succeeded in whisking Jesus away from the trap of Satan was no less than the cross.